Me. Okay, we're live, huh?
Can.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, a very good evening to each and every one of you. I'm so sorry we are 5 minutes late. What happened is there was a bit of a technical issue and we couldn't determine whether the sound was from his side or my side, but all is perfect now. Let me just start my watch party. So join us. Thank you so much. I promise you today is going to be an eventful day. So so tonight McKing, who is a hypnotist, is going to be giving away half an hour of free consultation to one person at the end, and all you have to do is to share this video. So create a watch party with your friends or parents whom you think would really benefit from a session of knowing, is it even possible to get my kids to do what I want them to do? So without further ado, McKing has started his practice for 6 years. So let's hear more from him. Okay, McKing, what made you, McKing is also the founder of Lee McKing Hypnotherapy, correct? So what made you decide to become a hypnotist? You know, have you always had an interest?
Okay. It's a bit of a long story. The short version is that when I was 20 years old, my lung actually burst in my sleep and I nearly died. I still went to poly, I gave a presentation, couldn't breathe properly. Then I went to the hospital and they actually showed an x-ray that there was my lung actually collapsed to the size of a chicken egg. So it's like very small. And by accident, I developed post-traumatic stress disorder and fell into depression at the point in time. So I suffered for like 5 years or so. And then I actually learned NLP as well as hypnosis to first heal myself from these mental health issues. And when I actually heal myself from such things, I was like, wow, actually the power of the mind is like so amazing. We do not know how powerful the mind really is. And that got me thinking, what if I can share this with people and help other people who may have been quote unquote suffering from mental health issues, just like how I was suffering. So then I decided to start my practice. Officially, it's about 5 years ago. But if you include unofficially, I've been practicing for about 6 years. Yeah. And so that's why I started, is actually to help people with the main idea of helping people with mental health issues to resolve their issues. Just for people out there, there are two styles of hypnosis. The traditional style is what we see on television. The guy will sleep on there. All right. Mine is a modern style where you can do your hypnosis even eyes open, even through a video call like this. We can do the hypnosis still. And interestingly enough, when I actually understand the person's mind and I use hypnosis with them to actually resolve the issues, 90% of the time we can actually solve the issues in one session. Yeah. So it's very quick, it's very efficient. And me thinking about wanting to do this to help people is just the core, because I've been through mental health issues. So that's why I start this to help people. Yeah, that's the that's the short version.
Thank you so much. I love what you shared, because I think the traditional concept of a hypnosis is someone who waves that pendulum and makes you do his or her bidding, whether positive or negative, right? I'm just wondering, can you share with us like one story that you have, you know, where you help turn around like either a relationship or, you know, how you help a child? Yeah.
Child. Okay, so there are quite a few things that the parents should first realize, is that sometimes the child do not see the problem. So as parents, you will see, oh my God, my child has this problem, that problem, but the child may not see the problem. So I usually do a chit-chat session first to actually share with the parents and let them realize that, first of all, the child must recognize that it is a problem and they want to change. Because if they don't want to change, even hypnosis wouldn't help. All right, just to let people know first. Okay, I had a few people. They bring their kids to come and see me. The youngest is 7. I don't know what was the oldest you would say a child is, but I've got up to teenage, like 15, 16, 17, come to see me as well. Usually, of course, with the parents. Let me give this example of the 9-year-old girl. All right. So the mom with the whole family came down. There were 3 girls, parents, so family of 5 came on a weekend and came to look for me. The eldest was 9 years old. And the mother was like, okay, so my 9-year-old daughter, she cannot focus, she cannot concentrate. She finds it very hard to learn. Can you use hypnosis to improve her learning? And I was like, well, I could, but only if the child recognizes the problem. And so the child said, yeah, I do realize that it is a problem and she's not learning very well, not as fast as her peers and all that. So I said, okay, so think about it. give some time. If she really wants to, then we arrange a proper session. So they went off and they came back a week later, and the girl said, yeah, she wants to solve the issues. And the dad was the one that brought the daughter. And the dad was really funny. He handed me a piece of paper and said, my wife wrote down a list of problems for you to solve. And I looked at him and I said, you know that I'm not going to look at the piece of paper, right? And like, yeah, I know. So, because the girl must want to solve it herself. Yeah. So I put the paper aside and I asked the girl, what do you want? And the girl said, well, I want to be more, to have more focus in my studies, to be able to learn better. These are the two main things that she actually thought of. So I said, okay, cool. So I did hypnosis with her. It's very interesting. I did something called a DMI, dynamic mental imagery, where we go into the unconscious mind of the child or the client, and we let the unconscious mind create like a world inside, and we sort of navigate in that world to actually figure things out through symbology. So right now, I can share with you, right now she's in a forest, and she's telling me that she feels very peaceful, the sun is shining, it's very peaceful in the forest. I say, okay, cool. So I have a look around, what else do you see? And she told me that she saw birds flying in the air, butterflies flying in the air. She can hear the chirping of the birds, and there's some squirrels picking some nuts. And a squirrel gave her a nut. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. How do you feel about it? And she said, I feel at peace. And she was just, have you ever seen a person or a child just sitting there in a chair and look in bliss? That was how she looked like, in bliss. I was like, okay, cool. So just enjoy it for as long as you want and let me know when you want to come out. And she was done. And then I bring her out of hypnosis. It was that. It's just very quick, right? And she went off. 3 days later, I text the mom. Now I was like, so yeah, how's things? And the mom was text me back. It was like, what do you do to my daughter? And I'm like, well, I hypnotize her. So what do you notice? I was like, yeah, but what do you hypnotize her with? I'm like, well, I can't really tell you, but I can tell you, I can't do the details, but I can tell you that she felt at peace. All right, that was the call. So why don't you tell me what you observed? Because that's more important. And the mother was like, yeah, okay, funny thing. My daughter, she is now more focused in her studies. She's willingly go and study herself instead of I need to nag at her. Oh, that's good. That's exactly what you wanted. The second thing is, I didn't tell you, but she will always usually shout at me. So then I'm like, I didn't tell you this, but she is now more amicable. She has stopped shouting at me. So that's cool. That's an extra benefit, right? And she said, a third thing is, also I didn't tell you, is that my daughter has a pain in the right side of the head. It's now gone. So what do you do with my daughter? And I said, well, again, I can only tell you that, I can't tell you the details, but I can tell you that we gave her peace, and somehow that feeling of peace actually solved not just 1, 2, or 3 issues, but maybe even more. It's just that at this point in time, for 3 days, you only seen 3 observable things and not everything. So is that good enough, for one session? And she was like, yeah, it's amazing. Sidetrack, she didn't actually come to see me. Or rather, she didn't initially search hypnotism. She actually searched for brain training, which if you actually know brain training, it range from like $10,000, $20,000, And she did that one session with me, like this couple hundred, $350. I can just very share with you guys, and got exactly what she wanted. So that's perfect. So in the end, she actually brought her youngest daughter to come and see me, who also had the pain in the right side of the head. And I said to the mom, if 2 of your children are experiencing the same problem, in this case, pain in the right side of the head, there's a possibility that the source is coming from the same place. And that's when the mother herself admit that she herself might have been giving a lot of pressure onto the children, which caused the pain in the head. So, end up, the younger sister, the mother also came to see me.
I thank you so much, McKing. I think this is a very wonderful share, because just from your sharing, parents, if you're out there, give me a wave, like, hi, type in any questions you have. For example, we found out this daughter who had a pain in her head, or what issues are you going through with your child? Either you ask them to do things they don't want to do, or they are not motivated to study no matter what you do. So type in your questions, because as I read your questions, I will be able to put them to McKing so that it will be a very interactive session, okay? And share it with your friends, because for those of you who just joined, at the end of this, we will pick one person to receive a free 30-minute consultation with McKing for him to just diagnose and get to know you better, okay? So that's something, a customized solution almost for you. Okay, so McKing, you talk a lot about the brain, and I've always known that our brain is more powerful and that we're only using probably 3% of the full capacity that we can. So do you want to share more about that?
Sure. Okay, so generally speaking, we have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. All right. So the conscious mind is like a logical gatekeeper. So right now, as adults, I'm assuming your kids are not watching. So all of us are adults right now. And as I share this information, it is your conscious mind, your logical gatekeeper, that is deciding, okay, this guy, is he saying, does it make sense? No, you are accepting or rejecting the information. Okay. Now, after which there is an unconscious mind inside. So the unconscious mind is actually something that is more emotional, much more of access to memories, much more powerful in that sense. So if you were to imagine the iceberg exactly like this, it is the conscious mind that's 10% above the water, while 90% below the water is the unconscious mind. And think of it this way, if you are consciously aware of what behaviors you're doing, what actions you want to take, that is on a conscious level. However, it is in your unconscious mind where it has all your attitudes, beliefs, values, memories, and emotions, and so much more. Now, let's look at it from a different perspective. The conscious mind, right now, you are aware you're looking at me, maybe from your phone, maybe from your laptop. You're focused on me. What your unconscious mind is doing is taking care of everything else in the background for you. It is aware of the temperature in the room, whether you feel cold, warm, or maybe even some of you might be able to have a guesstimate about the exact temperature it is at now. Your unconscious mind is also blinking, breathing, and even beating your heart, digesting your food, especially if you just had dinner like me. Okay, now, now the thing about this is that what's so important is that the conscious mind doesn't really form, so to speak, for children from 0 to 7 or even 9 years old. Now, what is happening over here? Your child is fully unconscious mind, awareness is there. Okay, your unconscious mind of the child is learning from the parents, essentially, how to be a human. So boys will be learning from the fathers how to be a man, and boys and boys will be learning from the mother what to look for in a future partner, and vice versa. The girls will be learning from the mother how to be a woman, and the girls will learn from the father what to look for in a future partner. And what happens is that we actually learn how to be man or woman. That is why, in case you're wondering, why is it that when you were young, your parents might say, hey, you exactly like your parent that is the same gender, very stubborn or temperamental or whatever. It's because we learn from them. Okay, so very quickly, this is how it works. The sort of like a flow chart. Information from outside comes in. The conscious mind, the gateway, is accepting or rejecting the information. If you reject, nothing happens. If you accept, then the unconscious mind will integrate the information with the rest of the mind and body. All right. Next slide will actually show the child. So this is what's happening. Because there's no conscious mind, there's no logical gatekeeper, the child doesn't recognize what is right and wrong. Think of it this way. If your children are below 7 years old, it's a very high chance they believe whatever you tell them, whether it's true or lie, whether it's Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, or whether there's a monster under the bed or whatever. They are imaginative, and whatever you tell them, they will take it to be truth. Okay, think of it as like they're learning from the parents as if the entire world is really just the two parents. Okay, this has good and bad associations. All right, so basically, children are much more highly suggestible compared to adults. And right now, once you understand that, okay, we are learning from the parents, or children are learning from the parents, okay, how does it really impact you? Now, this is actually a psychologist called Bronfenbrenner. Okay, name maybe a bit bombastic, so I don't really remember. But he has this theory called ecological systems theory. So if you can see on the chart, basically it stems from the self. And his theory is that we are all connected through interactions, and we affect each other much more greater than what we normally thought. Okay, so the individual, let's say you right now, is being affected by your family and affected by your work and career, and then the next one is by the environment, the bigger the society, even bigger the culture, the world, and time. So let's just look very quickly on how COVID-19 has impacted us. COVID-19 wrecked the world. Okay, shit, everywhere, all is like, concussed, knockout, whatever you want to call it. Economy goes down. Then what happened? Jobs affected. Then what happens? Society affected. We all cannot go out and everything. Family affected. Then look at circuit breaker. What happens is that the parents, most of us probably working from home, except for the essentials, and then you get a lot of build up on stress, right? And the child is sort of feeling it as well. The child can feel that, oh, okay, mommy is stressed. Even if the child doesn't feel it in the beginning, the child could be talking to you, and then you could have that just that feel of irritation because of your stress or whatever, and then your child will get it later on. So, and then the child will impact the studies. So that's how it all affects, you see. So right now, as we start to go back into the going into the workforce, right? Most of us, right? So at least we get that little traveling time, although of course still strongly encouraged to telecommute, but at least we get the traveling time. Now you go to work, you feel stressed, but on the way back home, there is a chance that the stress will sort of leave your body or whatever. So at least you feel better by the time you reach home. That is the good thing about going to work. The problem with working from home is that there is no barrier right now. Heck, sometimes 10 o'clock at night and then you're still working, because right, your boss is like, hey, you're on your laptop, right? Can you look at this thing? And then your child's like, mommy, I have like some learning I do not know how to do. And then it's like, oh my God, you got stressed out and everything. It creates a lot more stress, a lot more tension. And that is why if you actually read up, there's a lot of things happening. Look at the last 2 weeks, last 2 months, right? And in fact, we look all around the world. Cases of much more anger, much more violence, much more stress is causing a lot more things, much more anxiety, much more, whatever you want to call it, So that's the impact. And I feel that Bronfenbrenner's ecological system is like the exact theory for what's happening right now.
Viewers, would you agree? Would you agree that this COVID period, I know we are into phase 2, but has it brought your family more stress? Yes, no, I would love to hear, your comments. I have one mom here who says, my 11-year-old boy is not focusing well in his studies and more into his mobile games. I have to repeat myself again and again. How to make him play less and focus well in his studies? Will you be covering this later on?
Yes. Okay. So very quickly, I will be sharing a little bit of linguistic techniques, all right, how to speak, to talk to the kids. But one thing is that we go back to what we shared about the mind, how the child is learning from the parents. So right now, you say it's your son doing these kind of things, right? One thing is that you also got to see your husband. Is your husband also lazing, sort of playing around? Now, if your husband tend to do that, try to like, okay, I'll do that later, I just want to play my game first, there's a high chance that your son will be replicating the same behaviors. Okay, I had a parent, the family came to see me. The boy was 9 or 10, around there, 9 or 10. And then the mother was complaining to me, oh, he just sit down there, he tried to waste time, he doesn't do anything. And then after a chit-chat, she goes off to the toilet. Then I looked to the father and said, can I ask you a question? Do you like to slack, waste time, don't do anything, just chill and relax in the couch? And yeah. So you see where your son got it, huh? Just that I never say you in front of your wife only, huh?
So I get what you are saying. So actually, parents, we play a more important role than we know. So it's not just what we say, but what our actions communicate, right?
So in fact, when we say that, or even we know that children's role models are the parents, it is true. Whether good or bad, the parents are still the role models for the children. Children will learn first from the parents, then maybe by the teachers when they go to school and all that. But yeah, role models first from the parents. So when we want to look into certain behaviors of our children, first, I would advise you, look to the behaviors of either yourself or your spouse. Are you replicating the same behavior? Or sorry, are you doing the behavior that your son or daughter is replicating? If you recognize it, you might want to change your behaviors first. Okay, that's the idea. Or be more conscious of the behaviors that you need to be aware of. Yeah.
Okay.
That would help us. Then we talk about the language part.
Okay, so first, parents, it's us to watch ourselves in the mirror, because what we see we don't like is actually very likely a mirror reflection of what we have been modeling for the kids. Yeah. I have this question. Is hypnosis, and I think effective on young adults, teenagers? So what's the age range? As young as what? You mentioned your youngest is 7 years old. So as long as they have a mind, we can, sure.
Okay. Generally speaking, when I do hypnosis, right, my youngest client is 7, as I mentioned. In fact, the 7-year-old is the sister of the 9-year-old that I just mentioned. Okay, that's why I thought of her, because they're sisters. And what happened is that the oldest client I ever had was actually 83 years old. 83 years old, 83 years old. Okay. Now, the thing is this: hypnosis across the board can work with anyone, of course, with a mind, but more importantly is when they want to solve the issues. So when people come and look for me, the idea is they have a problem and they want to solve it. But if they do not want to solve it, then nobody can help them. It's like if, let's say, random, let's say your husband is a smoker and you want him to stop smoking, but he doesn't want to stop smoking. It's you want him to stop smoking, but he doesn't want to, you see. So he probably may not see smoking as a problem, and hypnosis wouldn't work in the first place, right? But
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So okay, just very quickly. That is what seeing me, okay? But then what happens is that when you realize that hypnotism is actually all language. Now, this means that to a certain extent, you as parents, you are your first hypnotist for your children. That is why a lot of the behaviors, a lot of the pronunciations or the tonality, the expressions or whatever that the children are replicating is coming first from the parents. All right, so I share this with young parents, those who come and see me. You are the one that will be sort of forming the beliefs of the child, which would impact their lives in the future, whether good or bad. Okay, so if you look at this general hypnosis, it's everywhere. It's all around us. As long as two people can speak and communicate and be influenced, it's a form of hypnotism already. Whether we accept or reject, but yeah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, as long it's because hypnosis has to do with going past the conscious mind and into the unconscious. So words are very important, right? Do you want to share some things about words that parents can avoid, or some things that we just can watch out for?
Yeah. So let's put the slides back on. Easier for them to see. Okay, so right now I'll share with you certain linguistic patterns that you can actually apply on the spot, so that you can actually in a certain sense, influence your children better. Okay. Now, first of all, of course, you could be thinking like, what's so important about words? You see, one thing, I break them into three parts. Right. The first thing is this sarcasm. You could be saying one thing, but you mean another. And it's very unfortunate, the unconscious mind will take the words literally. This means your unconscious mind doesn't recognize sarcasm. Now, think about what you may have been saying to your son or daughter. What if you were sarcastic about something that may have impacted them? For example, okay, I don't know. Have you ever been sarcastic before? All the time, I can't think of an example.
So for me, no. So to answer, I'm someone who understands the power of words. So in as much as I can, as soon as I got that, I began to use affirmations a lot more. So when I see something I don't like, instead of saying, "Why are you so clumsy?" which would have been something that I would have automatically said when my daughter spilled the milk, I'll be like, it's great you are developing your motor skills, so I tend to try to look for the positive,
Excellent.
And I really don't believe in sarcasm. I mean, just so as a person, I think as I was growing up, because I think the spirit or the attitude behind sarcasm is not to build up, and that's not something that I want to do with my words. If my words have the power to build up or to tear down, I want my words to build someone up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And then can seed ideas. So
yes.
Would that be the self-fulfilling prophecy? Like I tell them what I want them to be.
Okay, to a certain extent, yes, but we also must recognize that it could be a no. Why? Because, what's seeding ideas? Seeding ideas could be like, for example, as a parent, you might be, hey, son, doctor, doctor, very good job. So right now, what happens is that you are suggesting to your child that being a doctor is a good job. So that's what we call seeding an idea. You're planting the seed and let it grow over time. However, ultimately, the children will decide for themselves whether it's of their interest, whether they want to do it, whether it's something that they will really enjoy. So even though we could seed ideas for something like an occupation, it may or may not work because of their interest. But when you look into other kind of seeding ideas, for example, you could be seeding ideas that, as what you just did, by making that mistake, you say, oh, you know what? You actually got a chance to develop your motor skills. So now you're seeding an idea that, hey, it's okay to make a mistake because you get to train something. So that is actually your seed that you've planted in whichever daughter that you did at that time. So that's very cool. That's very cool. So now the last one is trigger words. So I'll give the example first. I want you all to listen to these sentences. Okay, I'll repeat twice. The first sentence is, the infant perished in the flames. I'll repeat. The infant perished in the flames. Okay? The second sentence, the baby burned to death. The baby burned to death. Now, you hear these two statements, which one actually draws more emotion from you? I want to hear in the comments, so please do share. But yeah, why don't you share yours first?
So will it be A for you, the baby perished in the fire, or B, the baby burned to death? When I heard the first one, it's like reading a book, frankly. The second one, I'm like, oh my God, the baby, it's like horrible. Yeah.
Exactly. So what these are actually trigger words, words that trigger an emotion in a person. All right. And there are some particular trigger words that are across the board. For example, baby, burned to death. Very strong emotional words. Whereas infant, perish, and flames. It seems to be like, okay, is this okay, like matter of fact, you know? Now, very, very quickly, doctors and nurses probably tend to use this, they tend to use words that are disassociative. They're not so triggering because they do not want to feel the emotion behind it. All right. Imagine if they keep on saying all these kind of more emotionally charged words, they might become impact as well. And then the doctor is crying with you. Then you're like, doctor, why don't you come down first? You know, you need to actually console the doctor instead. So that's why doctors are trained to use disassociative words or words that are not so emotionally charged. All right, that's an extra awareness for you guys. Okay.
So
now,
a few questions, right? As a parent, how are we to know what are trigger words, like what to avoid, what not to avoid? You know, any
okay,
any positive trigger words to use more, any negative to avoid?
Okay. One thing across the board is two words that come to mind is stress and hard. All right. Now, these two words, there is a connotation to it. It forms a sort of image in the mind, stressed and hard. So whenever you
like
are saying
H-A-R-T.
yes,
Okay.
hard,
Okay.
yes. So
Hard.
okay, let's say for example, let's say your son says to you one day, oh, math is hard. Now, the moment they say that, they are forming a picture that it's hard, it's rigid, it's like stone. You can't do anything about it, no matter how hard you try. So, can you see how that the child, if they were to say such sentences, they are making themselves resist learning or doing homework? Okay. And why is it stress? Because why stress as well? Especially if you tend to say stressed, oh, I'm so stressed out, right? Your children might also pick up the same sentences and use it for themselves as well. So just be aware, because otherwise they are going to be the ones saying it in their homework, and then end up the whole family all stressed together.
So viewers, as you're out there, why don't you key in words that you think may be trigger words in your family, so that we can check with the expert whether we should use more of this or less of this. So for me, when you say avoid stress and hard, my opposite goes, should I be using more calm and soft kind of words? Is it the opposites, or it's not necessarily true?
Okay, to a certain extent, calm you can use. But soft is very interesting because you see, what happens is this, that in English, anyway, in English, certain words, they mean one thing, but in a different context, they mean another. For example, math is hard, but the hard word is also stone is hard, right? One is a physical trait, the other one is not. It's actually more of a mental thing. So you cannot use soft.
I think what I'm beginning to get right from you is, as long as we change a negative word to the positive equivalent, that should work, right? Okay, and let me just read. So, you know, some people are asking, you know, how about problems of getting mental block and panic during exam, even though the person has studied? So this is in the subconscious mind, is it? Just a very quick, you know, or it's not possible to diagnose just with a one-liner like that?
Okay, this sounds a bit like exam anxiety, where the person experiences anxiety regarding exams. All right, sounds like it. I could be wrong, but sounds like it.
And for those of you who have stage fright, I suspect this may be quite linked. You know, anxiety, right?
Okay, anxiety, yes, but the construct is different. You know, one is like, oh, I need to do something. You know, the other one is on stage. Yeah, okay. One thing that comes to mind is that you might first look into yourself. Do you, for some strange reason, seems to, especially during CB period, right? Because then whatever stress at work is keep at work, you know. But now stress at work, but working from home, your children are looking at you, and your children are like, oh, wow, you scratch your head. Wow, why the boss are da, 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 da. Then your children are like, oh, okay, so mommy say this at at work. So you just be aware of such things. Now, if your children actually have observed potentially you experiencing stress regarding to tasks or work related stuff, then perhaps they have actually learned it from you. That's one. Okay, one. Now, this might be a little bit tricky to work by yourself. Okay, because what happens is that the construct is much more firmly embedded in the unconscious mind, and to a certain extent, it has been seeded already. in the worst possible case, the seeds for anxiety may have already occurred when they were a baby.
Oh.
So yeah, so that means if let's say your son or daughter is like maybe 9 years old, that's 9 years where that seed of anxiety has been growing, and only just recently due to exams, then it start to bloom. But bloom not in a good way lah. Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah, so that one might be better to actually talk with me, and then I'll see how I can help. Now I can share very quickly. I do get some parents who bring their children to come and see me during PSLE, because PSLE is exam anxiety. Yeah, I do agree.
PSLE coming, parents.
And then one session we solved the problem. For example, use this 12-year-old girl. The mom brought her to come and see me. When she goes to exam, her mind will blank out. She cannot sleep at night when exam is around the corner. See me one session. In fact, just 1 or 2 weeks before the exam. Then we go off. Then during the exam itself, 1-2 days, I text the mom, how's everything? The mom was like, oh, everything's fine. Yeah, my daughter can sleep very well. And she go to school, she come back, yeah, the paper can do. No stress. Excellent. That's how it works. As long as it works already.
It really sounds amazing. And from just listening to you a bit, I think there are different techniques. So for all the viewers out there, if McKing it doesn't answer your question specifically, do type in, share this with more friends, because at the end, we will be giving a 30-minute free consultation where you will be able to speak to him to share your specific issue more in depth. Okay, McKing, I have another one. What do we do? So for example, this is a question by, my daughter is 10 years old, no respect to parents. She shouts when she does not get what she wants. She's also very lazy in learning. My husband also got bad behavior. I can't stop him. How the mother doesn't want, so both like outnumbered, right? I'm one trying to hold the fort. And then, so any suggestions for this mom that she can apply? Words, do you want to move on to the words or?
Okay, just what I'm thinking. Although this one words maybe could help, this might also stem from the family issue. It could be that your child may have observed either you and your husband arguing, or in the worst case, may have even observed either one of you sort of quote unquote arguing with one of your parents. So your daughter could be learning, oh, if my parent can do to their parent, I can do to my parent too. You see? So that is a bit more tricky to address just using words, because it stems from a family thing. There is a chance. Okay.
So just question, right? If let's say this is a family of 3 people and they're having that, would one person going for hypnosis, consultation, could that one person actually affect change in the entire family without the other 2 going for, a session with you?
Yes. Okay. So this is actually a very interesting phenomenon. I've had people come to see me for just one of them, and for some strange reason, it affects the family. It may not affect 100%, but it can affect like 30% or whatever, in terms of addressing perhaps anger issues or negativity. Somehow it helps. I had a lady who came to see me for anger issues, and can you imagine, say that the entire life, she's like 20 plus years old, the entire life, the whole family is just arguing all the time. So she is the only one who saw me for hypnosis to address the anger. When she go home, she texts me on the spot. This is the first time my mom smiled at me in my entire life. I'm like, wow, I don't know what happened, but congratulations for that.
Actually, can I say something? I think this has to do with your earlier slide on Bronfenbrenner, that theory. And I'm not surprised, because for our viewers out there, on a personal level, I've always been very interested in how our mind works, because I know that we are capable of so much more than what we are currently doing. And our mind, our unconscious mind at least, is a creator. So whatever we literally create. So for those of you who are Christians, human beings were created in God's image. And in the first 6 days, first 5 days, you will notice the only action that he was doing was creation. So if we are created in his image, I assume, and I'm not a biblical teacher, that the one action we are empowered to do is literally create. And yet, most often, I find myself reacting, whether it's a mom, whether it's a boss, as an employee, as a wife, I'm more reacting. So this topic, I think it's so huge, and we might potentially have a part 2, depending on, like what you say, like anger management, or even how one person can affect the entire family. I believe it's very true, because as we create, our mind literally goes beyond, there are three planes, I believe, like spiritual plane, the mental plane, and the physical. So most of us are living on the physical. But if we can tap into the mental and even the spiritual, it's literally a lot more powerful. Yeah.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Somebody asked, how is hypnotism different from CBT in influencing the mind and behavior?
Okay. What happens is that CBT is a more of a logical process. So I'll use it.
CBT stands for
Cognitive behavior therapy.
Cognitive behavior therapy. Okay.
So cognitive behavior therapy, or CBT, is a more logical process. All right. Let me share one of the techniques that they can do, which is exposure response therapy. And what happens is very good for fears and I think anxiety as well. So let's just use a fear. Let's say someone has a fear of cats. Now, what they do is that they will take a picture of a cat, put on the end of the wall, and ask, what's your fear from 1 to 10? And then you say, oh, my fear is on an 8, like it's very scary, but it's just a picture of a cat. So they try to logicalize that it's just a picture, it cannot hurt you. Once it has dropped enough, then subsequent sessions, the picture of the cat will come closer and closer and may turn to a stuffed toy. So this through repeated sessions, at least 8 to 12 sessions, sometimes even 20 sessions, to actually reduce the fear in a very logical process. So hypnosis, on the other hand, is going through the unconscious mind. To a certain extent, it's a bit illogical. Okay. So we go into the unconscious mind and we work at the issue. What caused you to have the fear of cats? For example, someone may be walking on the streets, for example, and then the cat fell from the tree and scratched the face. Okay. So that may have caused the fear of cats. So we actually go back to that memory and we address it. You say, okay, you know what? When you were 8 years old, that was very scary. Cats are like huge monsters when you were 8 years old because you were very small. But now you're an adult, you're 30, 40 years old. So when you look at it prospectively, hey, actually, it's just a normal cat. Maybe it was just a kitten. So through that perspective, we're actually sort of teaching and releasing the issue in the mind so that we resolve the issues. Fears, for example, can be done in minutes.
Wow. So wait, viewers out there, if you have any fears, just type it out, type it out to just look at how just type it out so that we all get that fears, they are normal, right? It's just the magnitude that we allow them to impact us. Am I right?
Yes. But of course, it can get a little bit more tricky because how the fear was constructed. For example, the cat fell from the sky, that's one thing. But another person could have just for some strange reason, fear of cats for seemingly no reason. No, actually, very quickly, I had a 9-year-old girl. She was afraid of cats. And normally when I do a chit-chat session, the whole family is together. But the 9-year-old girl said, Mommy and Daddy, you all step outside. I want to talk to the hypnotist alone. I'm like, wow, this girl is so mature. So the parents go out. So I asked, all right, so your mom tells me you have a fear of cats. How do you get a fear of cats? You know what the daughter said to me? For my entire life, my mom has been telling me how she is so afraid of cats. And I'm like, oh, you got hypnotized by your mom.
Oh, that's very interesting. I love the way you just put it. Like even just a suggestion like that impacts the kids. Okay, I'm just reading. Agnes, lizards, heights. Yeah, I'm sure yes, I'm sure we do have quite a lot of fears. Yeah, heights seem to be quite a common one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just reading. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
You know what's the number one fear in the whole wide world?
A fear of stage fright, right?
Yes,
correct.
Yes, number one fear. Yeah. But I can tell you very quickly. So we go back to understanding why words is so important. Fear of stage fright or fear of presentation actually is very different,
Okay.
You know why? Fear of stage fright or stage fright itself must have a stage.
Okay.
But presentation must have slides. Meaning you can sing on stage, but if you got no stage fright, you only got fear of presentation, right? You are still okay.
Understand.
Yeah. But as long as you're stage,
so one got people, one got stage lah. Okay, you were sharing. Okay, for you parents out there or even viewers, whether you're a parent or not, there are some keywords to be looking at. So, McKing, do you want to just share what these are?
Okay, so this is just like a content page. Okay, I'll share with you the power of not, linking words, double bind, and I'll give a bonus at the end. All right. So these all things is actually very important because. Yeah, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm burping. So okay, not. Why is not so powerful? The thing about this is this: we as human beings, our unconscious mind doesn't process the word not. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that whenever you see your son or daughter as a child running, what do parents normally say? Don't run. Now the funny thing is this: because our mind, our unconscious mind doesn't process the word not, and children at the age are still in the unconscious mind, they process do, run, and then they run some more. Happened before? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we usually do? We say the one we want to say, which is walk or stop, and then they'll stop or walk. Okay. I did child psychology and early education in Yan Poly, and I did an internship in the preschool. So my kids, they run to the toilet, right? I straight away just say walk or stop, and they stop, okay, and they walk. But then what happened is that I do notice the other classes, they say, don't run, and then the children run even more. Okay.
So parents from now on at home, should we tell them study smartly, you know?
Okay. So
eat slowly.
For example, if let's say your child will tell you, I feel so stressed, what the parents might say, don't feel stressed.
And that reinforces it.
You reinforce the stress. That's
so
right.
we should say, I get it, calm down. Or is it the
Yes,
what?
exactly.
Not okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I get it, calm down, right? That's exactly. Is it you want them to calm down, you just calm down. Or okay, take a break, come back to it later. Simple. Right?
Okay.
So though what happened to the slide?
The slide is still here, yeah.
Okay. So for example, maybe you bring your children to another person's house, and then you tell your child, don't touch, don't touch, Then what happened? Child touch.
Okay.
So
So
what happens is that we say whatever we want to say, and avoid, if possible, saying the things we don't want to say, but not. So like, don't feel stressed, or don't worry. What you got something to say?
Yes, I love what you say, because when we got a dog, so in the beginning when we were training the dog, they would say, no, don't do that. And then I was asking the kids, you tell the dog what not to do. But why don't you tell him what to do? Because the dog now knows I can't do A, B, C, then what do you want me to do? Isn't it easier to give the mind a command as to what you want? It's so much easier instead of having to guess, right? And even in relationships, I think this is very practical. Females tend to be unhappy about this and this and this, but not be very clear. You know what? Just buy me this. It's so much easier for the guys, I'm sure.
Yeah, and sometimes even the guys, any husbands on here will be like, yeah, are you angry? Don't be angry. Wow, the girl even more hot.
Or the lady will go, no, I'm not angry. Yeah. I'm not angry. And you're supposed to get that. I'm not angry.
More and more angry, right?
You caused it. Yeah, I get. Okay.
Exactly. It's really funny.
Use of linking words. What's that?
Yes. Now, linking words is basically an idea or a concept that when we use such linking words, we are linking ideas together. Okay. So 3 examples: because, and, when. All right. Okay. Now, so what happened? I'll give an example there. When you pack your toys and finish your homework, then we can have dinner. Now, the 3 tasks are completely different. Packing toys, finish work, and do dinner. But when we add the words when, and then, so what happens is that the child is now processing. It's like giving a set of instructions, even though they're not actually linked together. The child will be thinking, oh, okay, so now I pack my toys, pack finish, I go do my work, later I got dinner. Okay. However, one thing is that when you do use linking words, you have to keep to it. Okay. Regardless of all these things, you have to keep to it. Basically, say what you mean what you say. Do not say something and then don't deliver. Then your child will start to lose trust in you. Then future, whatever stuff you say will be like, doesn't work anymore.
Got it. So parents, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, just type them in. I do have one. So when you use linking words, what you're saying is to link a series of behaviors. So for example, when they come back, go bathe, and then you eat, and then you get to relax. Is it something like that? Is that how you use it?
Yes, you could do that. Or perhaps you could even say that, because you just came back from school, so you can go and bathe now and then have a relax, something like that. So it actually links the ideas together in order to give like a set of instructions that may be seemingly deep. Okay, so the school thing, bathe, relax, there's a bit of a link.
How about this? How do you change a child's mind in liking a subject she dislikes? Can we apply these linking words to this question? So a child probably doesn't like Mandarin,
So the thing about with anything to children, I will first ask, is it something that both or either one of the parents also do not like?
Okay.
First thing first. So if the parents also do not like the subject, then there might have been certain teaching to a certain extent that you don't like the subject or whatever. Now, there's also a possibility that the child may have encountered a teacher in the subject that might have scolded him or her very badly, and then the children might not hate the subject because of teacher. All right. So first of all, you need to understand why is it. If it's learned from you, okay, then the way you address is very different. If it's caused by a teacher, the way you address is very different. All right.
Okay.
Can you use linking words for both instances? Yeah, you can. Yeah. So for example, let's say child hates math and your husband hates math, for example. Then you can be saying something like, hey, I know daddy don't like math, and I know that you don't like math. So right, I know both of you don't like math. However, you need to learn some basic things about numbers at the minimum, because you talk about money. When you want to measure your height and weight, what about your age? Numbers are everywhere. So when you see the importance, that numbers are everywhere, and they are everywhere, so you start to see the importance of it. I hope that eventually you start to appreciate math and learn math a little bit better. Okay lah. The difference is that I'm a hypnotist. I can string stuff very easily. You give me a couple of things, I can string everything.
And you speak into the unconscious mind lah.
Yeah, to a certain extent. So if it's, let's say, as a teacher, for example, I did give math tuition at one point in time. That's why I keep talking about math. And then one of my students, he was like, I hate math. And then I asked him, was there a math teacher that scolded you very badly? He said, yeah. When I was Sec 1, wow, I got a math teacher scolded me very badly, and I hated it. Now, back then I didn't know any hypnotism, but what I told him was this: you can hate the teacher. He was like, huh? Yeah, hate the teacher, but don't hate the subject. Perfectly fine to hate the teacher who scolded you for whatever reason, but math is completely unrelated. I bet if you were to find a math teacher that's good, you will learn better. And I was like, yeah, Sec 3, the teacher was quite good, and then my math improved. Exactly. But it's a subject. The teacher is teaching the subject. You can hate the teacher. We can hate the first teacher together, okay? The first Sec 1 teacher together, but don't hate the subject. And then from failing math, he actually improved and got A for his math.
I love what you're doing, because what I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, is how we link a seemingly negative emotion with a practical why it's going to be useful. So instead of allowing their existing unconscious and irrational connection or association, you are breaking it and making a rational connection. Am I correct? And that's how we use these linking words?
Yes. And to a certain extent, when you use these linking words and you share this with them, now do understand that they may or may not apply immediately. However, because of seeding ideas, by planting that idea inside and trying to lead them out of the negativity, eventually they will come out of it and you will see improvement after that. So it's not a instantly boom, but it's something that you practice over time. All right?
Got it. So be consistent and link positive words to for your children. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, and is this the third technique, the use of double bind, is it?
Yes. Okay. So double bind is very fun. So basically a double bind is that whether you do A or B, you definitely will do it. Okay, whether A or B. So for example, the example I give is, will you pack your toys before or after finish your homework? This is seeding the idea that you will pack your toys. Okay? And I'm not like, pack your toys now. No, I'm not a directive. I'm like, hey, would you pack your toys before or after finishing your homework? Now, I'm also seeding finishing your homework. You see that? I see both, that you will do it by the end of the day. But instead of giving instructions like a top-down kind of thing, I'm like opening question, and they feel like they are empowered to do it by themselves. Yeah.
I like this, because what I'm getting is we actually give them the choice. Am I right? Like before or after, now or later.
Yes.
Instead of dictating.
To a certain extent, it's choice. But some sentences, depending on how you use it, could be implied choice. There's actually no choice.
Okay, question. If you have like kids like mine, and they'll say neither, how? Any solution for that? If kids, the smart ones, I mean the young ones, it works, right? Like I remember when my kids were younger, I want them to eat carrots, they will not eat. So I'll be, okay, you want 2 carrots or 4 carrots? Either way, they have to eat, right?
Yes,
but as they grew older, they were like, you know what, Mom, that's not going to work, like seriously. So any solution for the smarter older kids?
Okay, this one, a bit tricky, because what happens is that they sort of know your tricks already.
I know. I think I
Yeah.
will use your linking words next time. I'll
Yeah,
link.
you try that,
And
you try
actually,
that.
that's what I do. For parents out there, if you have suggestions in how to get me to get my kids to eat vegetables, type it in, please. What I tell them is, since your screen time, right, you got 2 eyes, you minimally need to eat 2 pieces. So they laugh about it, and we are just so open about it.
Yeah.
But I tell them that carrots really are good for the eyes, and that's a scientific fact, right? So I link, like what this guy is saying, we link basic reasoning. So we explain the why instead of just dictate to them, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
In fact, right, there are a lot of times why the children end up becoming a bit more quote unquote rebellious because
yes.
sometimes the children, the parents tend to talk down. You know,
Ah,
I like to think of the kids as little adults.
okay,
They are
yes.
little mini yous, you know. They're little
Yes.
adults. So when you treat them as adults to a certain extent, they can actually grow and mature faster as well.
Yes.
When I was when I was intern in a preschool, right, my kids were like nursery. First day I went in, and one of my students, the kids spilled the water, and I was thinking, what should I do? Because I was still a shadow teacher. So the actual the so-called the host teacher was like, so and so, what do you do now? And the boy said, I go take the cloth and clean. Go ahead. And the boy went take the cloth and clean by himself. I'm like, whoa, that's very interesting, you know, that the teacher actually gave him to a certain extent power, and like he's an adult.
Yes.
There's one more thing that shocked me later on. Okay, now these are nursery, they're 4 coming 5 years old. And after one of the boys finished his food, I think it was lunch, and then the teacher said, okay, so now you can help so and so to eat because the other so and so actually had autism. And so now this 4-year-old boy or 5-year-old was feeding another boy who's the same age. And I'm like, whoa, that is even more shocking to me than the cleaning of the water, you know. And so when we actually give them this responsibility and we see that they actually they are little adults, they have the responsibility to do so, yeah, it actually empowers them even more than what we think. They're not just little kids. Yeah, they are really incredibly smart. Let's just quickly share with you guys.
Thank you. I so love what you share because I think sometimes when we shelter our children too much, we actually do them the greatest disservice because they don't learn how to be responsible. Okay, there's this question. So this father is saying, my daughter does not follow instructions. When she bathe, she take out dirty clothes and have dinner, she ignore me. So even though he keeps repeating, she still ignores. So what do we do to break a pattern?
Okay, so this one, again, we have got to look back to what the interactions within the family. In the, for example, okay, because I don't know this person, right? Let's say, for example, something happened between him and the wife. And so the girl will be like, oh, mommy's a girl, I'm a girl, so I should side mommy. So there may be a learned behavior from there, maybe. Okay, that's one. I don't know the age of the girl as well. It could be that something may have happened. Maybe the father may have accidentally wronged her in one way or another, and that's why she is like quote unquote not listening anymore. So there are quite a few possibilities for what may have actually caused the thing, and depending on what caused it, then we can so-called find the right technique or resolution to actually resolve this issue. Yeah, so it's a bit tricky to just give some advice without knowing the full context. Very quickly, I can share. I had these 2 parents. They divorced. The girl was 3, and instead of going to either parent, the girl 3 spent 1 year with the grandparents. Then the mother came and took her back for another couple of years. And then when the mother came to see me with the girl, why is my daughter so clingy? Like, can she don't cling to me so much? When I found out the background, I'm like, okay, now I know why. Because in the mind of the child, I lost my mommy and daddy. Then for 1 year, I will gong and mama. Then my mommy come back. Of course, I scared my mommy gone again. And the worst one is, okay, in a way it's worse. The mother is a tuition teacher. So what happened? She's spending time with other people's kids. Are you going to be their mommy? Then what about me? So she's even more clingy. You see? So when we understand the context, then, okay, what we can do? How can we resolve this? So then I tell her, okay, you need to actually tell her that no matter what, she's the mom and she'll always be there for her. And sometimes you got to give that cuddle to her, make her feel safe because she's not feeling safe at all. That's the thing, right? Yeah.
I love context. Thank you, McKing, because I think as parents, right, love and affirmation is one of the greatest need to feel first in the kid because when they are secure, they blossom so beautifully. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. For all the viewers, we have overrun because we started slightly later. McKing, do you have any last advice to give any of us, or for any of you viewers out there? If you've got any question, type it in. So that we can ask the expert here.
Can.
And you've heard so many that ranges. So let me type it in so I can ask him. But McKing, do you have any last advice to share with parents?
Be there for your kids, regardless. I mean, yes, work is tough and all that, but when your kid wants to interact with you, be present with them in the moment. I can tell you honestly, the people who come to see me, sometimes they are 30, 40 years old and they're suffering for whatever reason. But when we go back through a regression, it turns out that it was because their parents weren't there for them at a specific moment, and that stems the issue. So be there with your kids. That's the very quick advice thing. Yeah.
But
Hope that
question,
helps. Sure.
it definitely helps, because I realize how when I consistently spend time with my kids, good behaviors are just there, right? They will massage me. They are so loving.
Yes.
And when I don't spend that regular time with them, wow, the little, monsters come out to play. So, but really, time is one of our scarcest resource. We've got so many things to do. You talk to the busy father, the busy mother. How do we, is there something that parents can take back, or something to remind us how to spend time or to be present with them? Because I don't think it's just spending time for the sake of sitting with you and playing games. I think it's really the quality of that connection, right, that you are driving at. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so first let's look at work. Work will never be done. Okay, you got deadlines to meet, yeah, but they will never be done. All right. However, if you miss your child's, for example, when they were a baby, you miss their first word, their first step, and then you're like, oh, I missed it because of work. How would you feel? Think about that. And as they grow up, there are moments where you might have yourself wish that your parents was there when you go through certain things, when you were growing up, right? So when you think about that, then you realize that actually, yeah, the time with your kids, once passed, it's gone. But work will always be there.
Thank you, McKing. Okay, I so love what you share. For those of you who want the 30-minute free consult with McKing, so he can dive deeper to understand your situation, type in the reason why. So how we will be picking is the person who has, a reason that he feels, yeah, this is something I want to make a difference to contribute. That's how he'll be picking you. So quickly type in, even as we reach the end. I so love what you say, because when I was growing up, even though my mom was physically there, emotionally we didn't connect as much as I wanted to. And now on hindsight, that's how I have decided to be that for the kids, So
That's
all
right.
you stay-at-home parents, you are making a difference. Just don't get caught up with household work so much so that, as you give up your job to be there for the kids,
Yes.
yeah, just spend that time, to be present with them. Yeah.
Okay, so just to be clear, later I pick or you pick
We
the
pick.
winner?
Oh, we will pick after, and then we will. Okay, and then for the viewers, we will contact you directly through
Okay.
Messenger on Facebook.
Okay, because I'm using my phone and my bat only left like 7%. So I don't know when I'll gone.
Okay.
So I don't know when. Do I pick during the video here, or you pick, or yeah?
Okay, we pick after we go offline, we can pick.
Okay.
So viewers, I want to thank each and every one of you for making time for this session. I trust it's been most useful in understanding that at the end, if we were to do a very quick recap, kids actually model after us. So the first person that we should be looking at if we see something we don't like is, now how have I exhibited that? And then the second one is to be watchful with our words, right? So do we call out positive words that they can live into, or do we judge them and criticize and use sarcasm, because that never works? Yeah.
Yes.
And finally, anything else to add, or
like you mean the linking words, is it?
yeah. And then so there's linking words, double bind, link positive words. Yeah. For your child, explain the why a lot more rationally. Yeah. Other than that, I want to thank each and every one of you. Type in your why so that you could win the free consult with McKing worth $175. And the next session will be on Thursday, where we will be talking about how do kids learn through play. Are my kids playing enough? So Singapore Science Centre will be coming on because we all know that playing is important. And yet it's ironic how the academic system in Singapore just pushes us to study more than play. So they will be sharing principles that we have to be looking out for. So join me Thursday, 8 o'clock, later today also. Okay, somebody is asking how to improve better. Do you want to answer this last question? Okay, for those viewers out there, we will be leaving his website and his email address in the comments after this so that you can contact him because somebody is asking you for an appointment. And how to better improve. Is there any tips you can give to better improve communication? McKing?
Okay, just very quick one. So as we already gone through, right? Sometimes the words we say, okay, if we find that we are more sarcastic, use more negative words, you got to change that, right? Very quickly as well is tonality. So the way we actually express, right, actually does play a part. The difference between good boy or good boy or good boy. You hear these three, they sound so different. Neutral, positive, and negative. So tonality also makes a difference. Okay. Let's just come very quick tips. If you can actually sort of implement this, recognize that, oh, sometimes I use more negative tonality or more angry tonality, or certain words are more negative, then you start to change that to more positive and you will see some effect, definitely.
Okay. Thank you so much, McKing. And I want to thank each and every of you viewers. I will be leaving this recording on. So if you want to share it or play back to certain parts, it's for you. So with that, I see you on Thursday. And thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.